There were some issues with the technical part. Right, just a second. Let me try to fix that. We are back. We're still not gone because there's one more final game which is still ongoing. Let me just
Yes.
make sure everything is set up so that you can continue watch it.
So yeah, just to recall you, we just had an interview with Demiral Cash, who reached 2700 today with his victory over Lekwang Liam, and yeah, he was excited about it, but he was never under pressure of reaching it in the previous days. Also, like when he played against Arkady Najic yesterday, he was never under pressure. He knew it will come at some moment, and here we are at this particular day when it finally happened. So yeah, we have still one game ongoing. We had before already witnessed some draws. And here we have the Saleh Salem against Gata Kamsky. Now you can see everything, and you can see also the playing hall.
Set the player camera. Just a second. I tried to find it. Something suddenly went haywire. Okay, here we go. We're back. Yeah.
Oh, finally, we have the camera, and we can see that Gata is thinking, he's really thinking there. What I was trying to say, maybe there was already some issues there, that even though it feels like it should be somehow drawn, right? Because, I mean, it feels like it should be a drawing game, but still, the king on h5, it's a question, like, it's too far away, no? And White's king is so close. So maybe Saleh Salem can still try.
So, for example, take it here, here. King goes here. I mean, even if White wins the pawn on a5, I don't think it really matters. Check here, here, something like this. This is just a textbook draw, right? So I don't see this game continuing for too long. Maybe Gata is trying to check some things, but normally things should be okay.
Yeah. So yeah, should be really the draw, but yeah, I mean, no one wants to stop the game. I mean, of course, Black is not fighting for anything here. I mean, Saleh Salem is just keep on playing. Maybe there can be something, and yeah, who knows?
Right. So Gata is thinking about his choices. I'm not sure what he else could do. Maybe he's looking for something more precise. I mean, definitely he's not playing it for the win.
I don't think that there is something more precise than rook a4, because it's at the same time also protects the pawn on a5 and also threatens to take with the next move on the h4. So I don't know. Rook a4 seems like a precise move, taking the pawn, protecting on a5, and eliminating basically the a pawn, which can be potentially a passer for White. Yeah, with that also trying to eliminate the chances for anything basically for White, any victory chances.
Right. All right. Okay. So what else? What else? Right.
What else than rook a4?
Yeah. What else than rook a4? I mean, maybe there's some nuances like okay,
rook c2.
Rook c2, but I just take on b3.
Yeah.
Maybe he's thinking about some nuances like some minor details. For example, like take here immediately. And after rook takes on d5, now rook c2. Now maybe this is what you're mentioning. Take here, this is also a dead draw, but now the king is so far away. I don't know where you position the king. But the king is cut off. That's, by the way, it could be problematic. Maybe this is not so simple, because according to Mark Dvoretsky, one of the most annoying ideas that can happen to you if you're a defender, if the king is cut off horizontally, right? So it's incredibly annoying. So I guess rook takes.
First rook b5,
rook b5, right? Rook a4. Maybe, of course, White is going to start with king c3. I don't see how it really changes anything. Let's assume take. Wait, but this is just a draw, right? Take. A4 here, A3 is just a draw, and if you play,
king c3?
It doesn't matter. I mean,
I'm
easily making a draw, and so White gonna trade it. I guess king c3, maybe rook a1. So Perhaps you take it. Let's say check.
Yeah, but
here,
why to check? Why
because I don't want to allow a4. So just a draw. Thinking before rook a2.
to? Okay.
So rook d4 here takes here. The king is running. Now I guess this pawn endgame is losing. So yeah, we are not gonna do that. Remove it here. Yeah, rook c1 I guess is the most precise. Take it. King goes here. Couple of moves. King b4, king d7, shake hands, because everybody who has studied some basic rook games, you should already know that this is a textbook draw.
And rook c5 is not possible here? Trying to trick somehow?
Wait.
Rook
Oh,
c5.
wait, just a second. Okay, I'm not very precise.
King
Thank you for
d6,
correcting me.
King
Yeah.
d6.
Okay, thank you for correcting me, right? Because indeed, king d7, yeah, king d7, rook c5, there could be some problems. Then the king is cut off. Still should be a draw, but I guess we don't want to find it out. So you're right, king d6, the king wants to make it somewhere here. So I think Gata knows it, but he just wants to be totally sure. The position is pretty simple, and that's why he's thinking.
Yeah, he's just taking time. He has quite some time, almost half an hour. And yeah, because it's very important, as we just discussed, the king on h5 can be really an issue. If Saleh manages somehow to cut the king, it will be very difficult for black to join into the game. So I don't know, will we wait for the move, or maybe we can still keep the camera on Gata and live position?
Yeah, we can do
And-
that. So we are going to keep the camera on Gata so that in case we don't miss they're finishing the game. I don't give it too much, I mean the length of the game, because if black is going to be very accurate with the execution, he should easily make a draw. I see the bar slightly gives the position in favor for white, but I think it's mainly because of this final position with the b pawn, which we already know is a draw, so it doesn't really matter at all. What we could do, however, is quickly check what is happening in the MTO.
Yeah, indeed. I believe today there were also quite some exciting games of the round already for the Masters group, because they started one day earlier during the rest day for the Grandmaster triathlon players.
They're still playing, actually. Yu Yangyi is still playing here with white, trying to
Wow.
escape. He's trying to escape against Sergei Azarov. So since they can walk here and there, we're probably not going to analyze this game at all. So let's just put it this way. Yu Yangyi is trying to secure a draw in the game. Also, we have an ongoing game between two Indian players. Abhimanyu Puranik, he's playing against Vesak. He is countryman. And here, if my calculation is correct, white is missing a queen.
I think actually the game already finished. I think.
They don't have the results, right?
There is just no result. I think this game already finished.
Yeah, it
long
looks like
time
that.
ago,
Yeah, it looks like that, because this is mode 39, should have finished a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, you're right. So that means black wins. Oh,
Yeah, it means the second victory actually for Ariane after winning actually against Fedoseev, right?
I think so. Yeah, he won with black, and now he wins against another very powerful opponent.
With black? No, actually
No, with white.
With white.
No,
Now
I'm
with-
sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, just a second. You
Yes.
slightly confused me there. So that was.
Or he was not playing against Fedoseev. That's the question. There are so many young.
I think Visak was playing against Shevchenko. Just a second. Let me check it. Slightly confusing. Where can I find the pairings? Just a second.
Maybe there you can also click on
Yeah.
the round.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, Visak was playing against Shevchenko with black. He beat him, and now he played against Puranik, and he beat him again. Just incredible, right?
Incredible, absolutely.
Just with black color 2 times in a row, beat 2600 level plus players. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, incredible performance, and that's why he's like basically clinching that he's leading. I don't know who else. We will see, of course, after the all games finished in this round. So, yeah, who else do we have there?
Let's check. So Pranav here with white is playing against his countryman Aryan Chopra. The position, I think it already finished, right? Yeah, this looks like quite
Actually,
drawish.
time is running.
No, I think it's finished. Move 35. They already should be finished by the time.
Yeah.
Long time finished. Unfortunately, we don't have any results here. So Yu Yi against Azarov Sergey. I'm not even sure if they didn't finish yet. Here, Shan Sargsyan. This I know for sure. He won
Yes,
his
he won.
game with white because that's a completely winning position because white is about to promote his pawn to another queen. Alexander Motylyov has won. Again, we don't have a result because he's about to promote the queen.
Yes.
Rook g8 check was given here. Pretty much this bishop doesn't matter. What matters is that white promotes. How did that happen, by the way? Yeah, okay. So pretty simple. Situ Rahman, another very strong Indian grandmaster, was playing against
Serbian.
Serbian grandmaster Milos Pavlovic. Also looks draw most likely because I don't see more moves are move 40. So basically, most of the games in MTU have been finished, right? So we just don't. It's actually quite interesting. We don't have the results on the boards, and we don't have the results in the chess results, so we cannot
Yes.
really check for sure.
Yeah, for some reason we cannot really see the results, but okay. The most important is that we have actually, our Grandmaster Triathlon and everything is working. That's the most important.
Right. So I guess we just go back, right? I mean, at some point tomorrow, what we are going to do again is, but tomorrow is Blitz.
Tomorrow
so
is Blitz,
we can't do that.
but maybe when tomorrow in the Grandmaster Triathlon some games are finished and there is still something ongoing in the open section and we have access to it, then we can.
Yeah,
sure
we'll
check.
get to back tomorrow. So either way,
Yes.
tomorrow we are going to have a Blitz tournament, so we don't have the time to check what's happening anywhere else. But what we are going to do, we are going to go back to this game of Salem Saleh against Gata Kamsky.
So finally, Rook A4 was played by Gata, and of course, Rook
What?
D5.
King G6? He didn't even take it. Okay, maybe that's another way to draw. For some reason, Gata didn't take the pawn on H4. I'm not totally sure why. But I guess he found this to be a faster win. A faster draw, my apologies, of course.
Yeah.
Faster win, of course, he's not winning this. I mean, that's pretty smart. I mean, he wants to take it with the rook, and the king is approaching the queen side faster, so I think he's just being precise, and that's it. Like, he doesn't even want to give white some chances with the b pawn, like we discussed, for example, this, what was it, king h4, here, rook a1, check, here, I'm sorry, king takes on b3, rook, I guess, okay, let's say king f6, rook a4, rook c1, rook a5, king e6, king b4, king d6, yeah, very precisely found by you, stopping any rook c5 ideas, cutting off the black king. But to be honest, Gata decided that it's not even necessary, so he played king g6, and he wants to take on h4 with the rook.
What happens after h5?
Probably king h6, and I try to go
King c3.
here. So maybe it doesn't seem so obvious. I mean, okay, let's check this one.
So
Here,
king takes
a4, rook king a4 is rook a2 draw. Should be a draw. Should
king
be. I mean,
c3.
king c3. I play a3, and I claim that you cannot win the game. That's the idea, I think, for Kamsky. He just thinks that this is a cleaner
Yeah.
draw. Once again, let's check it. So let's say king h6, king c3, rook a1. Okay, maybe king c3 is not the move, but let's say now I want to play a4, king b3 here, a3. Yeah, there's just no way to stop it because
b3 maybe.
b3 maybe. a2, rook a5. Actually, you need to be a bit careful. Need to be a bit careful here.
But I'm just not sure what was he scared of after taking with a king on h4.
No, maybe he wasn't scared. He just calculated this to be more precise. Pretty sure he saw that also that should be drawing. It's not like this is the only way to draw this, but just a second. So king c3. This must be his idea. Otherwise, why keep the h-pawn alive, right?
Yes.
It's not like it really matters, but if white gets these 2 pawns, then black king is a bit far away. That's the thing. Maybe there's some ideas like rook h4. It could be wrong. Yeah, probably it's wrong. Yeah, because now this is a target. So clearly it's rook a1. Take it. Clearly this idea needs to be stopped, I guess. Check. Here. And now the question is what Gata has prepared after king a2. I'm not totally sure. It's not rook a2 definitely, right?
Yes, it's for sure.
So that would be like a help trap or something. How do you call that? Help trap or something?
Help trap.
Help trap, yeah.
Self-trap.
Self-trap. Okay, b4 is allowing to trade the pawns, right?
Yes,
So
it's
king
not
b2
good.
or rook a5, rook b1. But what's happening after b3? Now, this is not very clear to me.
Yeah, b3 indeed.
Do I play it? Now what? But this is not so obvious. Take. Look at this king. It's so far away, right?
Yeah, it looks too far away, and even if it's coming, then it can still be cut. Yeah.
Oh, you need to prove this still. This could be easily losing at some point. Of course,
I think this position actually is losing. King too far away, like three files away.
I'm not sure. There's a separate chapter in Dvoretsky's manual about 2 files. Of course, black puts the rook here on c8, and
But it's 3 files. Look, there are 3 files to the pawn.
yeah, you're right. 3 files. No, but there were even positions like this. I mean, when the king is cut off a bit further away. I don't remember by memory. I would have to once again open the
Yes.
book and try to find. But why? Just a second. What do you do? I'm missing something obvious because the bar says it's dead draw. A3,
Yeah.
b3. Something smart is necessary.
But is it possible that we missed something before? Okay, maybe not.
Not sure what
h3.
really. I mean, h5,
H5,
king
king
h6. You have
logical.
to play. Unless, of course, you want to risk with running this pawn forward. I don't think so. So king h6, king c3. What do you do? What do you do? Well, for some reason, again, we have to refresh the boards all the time. After h5, he's thinking. Strange, to be honest. Doesn't seem so clean.
Wait a second. What he's holding his? Oh, okay. He was just thinking. Okay.
He's maybe unhappy about his choice. I mean, maybe he thought this was the easier choice. Maybe he realized this king c2 now because once again, so rook a1, king b3, a4. Maybe he thought this is an obvious draw and that's why he went there. Now he noticed this move.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That king h4 taking on h4, it felt like more precise, just eliminating the pawn, and if you see there is nothing, then you just go for it.
Wow.
For sure, something was missed. I see that actually evaluation bar still shows it's a draw, but wow, okay. King f7.
King f7. That I didn't expect. I was
Yeah.
afraid to test this. So he clearly is aiming for the king side and says that white's h pawn doesn't mean a thing. So
King c3.
here. So what's his idea? I just a second. I don't really follow. Is it still? I mean, maybe his idea is to put the rook on h4 because this pawn needs to be kept in check.
Yeah, but the pawn on a5 and b3 also can be taken at some moment.
Here. Here.
b3.
And maybe that's his idea. Here, so that the king is closer, not on h6 when he recaptures the pawn, but on f7.
Rook a5, the only move.
And now, another smart move. And if white plays like rook a3, I take it, and I guess the king is always going to make to b8.
rook a3.
Then I just take it.
And b4, rook
that's a
c3.
dead draw.
Mhm.
Oh, wait. Rook b3 still. Rook c3, you're right.
Mhm. Or
Maybe it's a check.
king.
This is so complex suddenly. I mean, king b3, you're going to go for the pawn endgame, right? Take, here, and black is lost.
Yes.
So if
I
you're
mean,
going to go...
there is not only actually b4, there is also rook a4. So that's not only the only one move. So rook a4 also.
Yeah, good point. Maybe this could be some kind of drawing, king d6, right? Wow, this is getting really tricky here suddenly. I mean, I thought that the game was getting for sure a draw after rook a4. Takes. Once again, what did we miss here? I mean, king h4, you're going to trade here, the rooks, it's a draw, right? Once again, rook d4, takes, here. I'm sorry.
And I believe the pawn was taken.
No, I think it was just a4, a3, just make a draw, right? Wait, oh my goodness, I didn't check it. It's not in the square. Oh, this I forgot to check. It's not in the square.
Wow.
Wow, this I forgot to check. Just a second. Did I just blunder this? So once again, rook d4. I forgot it. I mean, for some reason I thought that...
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Like, what is happening after this? Because
Take. Okay, let's make sure. a4, a3, and the king's not in the square. And if I don't do that...
then it should be winning. It looks like it is winning.
You're right. Wow. Okay, so that's
Incredible.
why. That's why king h5 was not possible. I missed that, I tell you honestly, but I can be forgiven, right? I mean, I looked at it very briefly. I forgot about this final position again after takes, a4. I felt, I'm sorry, king c3, a3, b takes. I just forgot to check the square because for some reason I thought that white takes the pawn. I mean, of course, he doesn't take the pawn. He just marches forward. Right, so that's why he's doing all of this. And he realized that king h4 is not possible due to rook d4 check. King g6 was played, h5, another move, king f7, king c3 is played, rook a1, king b3, and now Kamsky probably is going to push a4, a3.
Yeah, but all these complications of not taking the pawn are not out of good life, right, Arturs?
I'm sorry, what?
All the complications are not out of good life for Gata.
No, it just proves that he needs to be precise until then, because I also thought, I mean, come on, what is this? What is this, right? Easy draw. But this is where usually problems start. I mean, you lose concentration. You think, okay, the game is done. One small mistake in a very simple position, and that's it. White wins. There's so many stories of tragic comedies. Even world champions have done it. I mean, open Mark Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual, and you're going to see entire book devoted to a lot of mistakes, even from some endgame gurus like Jose Raul Capablanca, who was always widely regarded as one of the best endgame players of all times, that he was also making a lot of mistakes at his time.
The thing is that everyone is doing mistakes, you know, and it's actually also the beauty of the chess. We are not machines. We are not all engines or computers. And so, this is indeed something special. And Gata realized that he cannot really go for it. He cannot really take this pawn, and he has to keep his king there. He has to keep king and move it somewhere closer. So what is the idea now? This is the current position. A4 was played.
Right. A4 is played. Let me refresh again the board. A4 is played, so here I guess king c2 has to be the try. No, king b4. So white's final chance is somehow try to steal this pawn for free.
You know now why king b4, because earlier we had position with king on h6. Remember, we checked after h5, king was on h6, so it was attacking the pawn on h5. And in this position, after rook a2, there is even rook d2 and rook h2, supporting both pawns. But wait, there is a3.
There is a3, yeah. And
What is this a3?
Rook f2, you just got the king there. a3 is just drawing, I guess, here. That's a draw. And right. Okay, if not rook d2, a3, if that's a draw, so what else? King
Yeah.
c3, a3? Nah, it should be dead draw, to be honest. I mean, yeah, rook a2 is on the board. King c3 is also played. a3 should be played. I think Gata got this.
Yes.
He has got this. I mean,
A3.
he knows. He knows this is a draw. Because now black's idea is to trade this pawn, force it to go to b4, because, of course, white cannot trade this pawn because this is going to be a simple theoretical draw with a h pawn, which is not going anywhere. So white needs to keep the pawn alive. Now, maybe here, white is going to think about the differences between b3, b4, maybe play b3, and now these pawns simply will be swapped.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some nuances, but should be
But
drawn.
the thing is, the king is also not that. But okay, now king e7 probably, right? King e7.
Yeah, I think that's the most precise. We had already this position, I think.
Now it's white to move.
Yeah, wait.
Oh, wait, but now actually, not before, but h6.
h6. I also can be smart. Yeah? King e8, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to try to get my king as close as possible. You can try to trick me, but unfortunately for you, you cannot win my rook. Because this pawn needs to be eliminated first,
But rook a check.
right?
Okay, I thought
That's
you
what
would
I
go
said.
for f7.
That's what I said. No, why would I want to have 7? Right. So here, maybe final test for the Emirati grandmaster, figure out where to play b4, b3. Let's say b4. Again, here. Do you even need a2, to be honest? Maybe I just play king e8 right away. Why do I need it? And now he's just checking if there is a way how he can cut off the black king somehow. I don't see how. Maybe it's with the b3. So let's say b3, rook a2, rook h2. What was it again? Rook a5, king e8, h6. Yeah, but maybe like this. Take, here, like this, and try to cut off. Here.
Some moves are being played. b4, I believe, was played. Not b3, but b4.
b4, I don't think it really matters. The final result is not going to change. Maybe b3 was a bit more tricky, try to cut off the black king. Now I think there's just basically no chance to cut it off. Once again, we go here.
Rook a5.
Rook a5 needs to be played. Now I go here.
Now take.
And I can even give you a check, by the way. Could be nice. Wait, then you cut off me here. Okay. Wait, there could
And
be
now rook.
this move.
Yeah.
Yeah? Maybe that's his idea. Because there's no other way to cut off the king. Because if the king makes it here, that's it. It's just a dead draw. So king
Rook
b2.
King b2 and rook c3.
And if I'm really smart,
Maybe king go all the way till h.
but now I go here.
Yes, but the king can go all the way to the no.
And I'll go here. It's a draw. It's a draw. I mean, some final tricks are tested, but I'm pretty sure nothing is going to happen here. Kamsky is too good. He's too good for this. I mean, he's not going to mess it up.
Okay, rook h2 was played and king b3.
King what?
King b3.
b3? Doesn't really change anything. Wait, his idea is to play.
It's changing. Yes.
Okay, too.
A little bit. It's improving.
Here. I go with the king, let's say here. Oh, okay, they're playing it fast, actually.
Yes.
Check.
Actually, we have some comments in the chat about tomorrow's Blitz tournament. We will be there also, of course, for commentating on it. There will be even more action because it will be much faster time control.
Of course, I mean, tomorrow is going to be the main action for us commentators because we are going to be doing the commentary in a fast pace. Most likely, we won't use the Chess.com interface, I think, for this time. We are going to be using the original interface for that, so that we are getting the moves immediately. But yeah, that remains to be seen, really. So far, we still have one more final game ongoing here in the GMT. This is one of the long days. We were afraid it's going to come. It's here.
Actually, recalling also last year, there were quite a few rounds with this end games. Always some end game was almost every round. In 2021, there was some end game, knight versus bishop, two knights versus two bishops. Like it was everything possible. Rook end games, and people were playing till 8 p.m., till 9 p.m. and yeah, just trying to prove each other if it's still a draw, if there are still some winning chances. So that's what is happening right now also.
Yeah, because otherwise, how do you beat 2650 plus, right? I mean, you cannot outplay him so easily in the opening, which is pretty rare. They're good at calculating variations. They're very strong. And in the end, the idea is that you're testing them for 5, 6, 7 hours, some minor little details in the endgame. He cracks, he starts, he makes mistakes, and that's when you score. That's why, of course, they're testing. They're testing the opponent's endurance. They're testing the opponent's accuracy, concentration, and in the end, if no mistakes are made, then the draw is done. But a lot of times, the mistakes are done when you're getting tired. It's something like, again, 6th, 7th hour, you're tired, you're sweating. And yeah.
Yeah, when you're calculating a lot during the game, at the end of the game, you're losing that energy and you're lacking that energy, which you would need, of course, for more calculation, for more precision. And that's a moment where actually your calculation may bring some hallucinations and you just lose the track of it. But so far, as we can see, like almost the only moves are being played. So rook h3 check. King has to go to a2.
Maybe he's now looking at king a4, some ideas like a2, rook a1.
But
here.
But this is probably just really a draw.
Well, what can I say to you, right? I mean, it's...
Because king, you're allowing the king.
This cannot be done. This is a check. No, of course, it's draw everywhere. It's draw everywhere, and it's just... Salem is trying to figure out some final tricks. Okay, he played king a2. Now, I think king e6 should be played. King e6, if rook a5, king d7, now white has no progress. Oh, wait, does he again have no progress?
No, there is rook a3 and rook c3.
And I give you a check. How do you like that?
Yeah, but the question now, king b3, and what are you doing?
Nothing, I just take it, that's it. And if you don't go there, you play king b1, I take it, and after rook c3, I go here. So the king is too far to support.
Yeah, the king is too far.
So, yeah.
Maybe this b3 was actually a little bit more precise, but also
I think so.
should be.
I felt so. This b3 was a bit, tricky. Should be still draw, but okay, b4 doesn't change much. Kamsky is looking at the empty hole. There's nothing there. We can show you what he's looking at here. Oh wait, there's actually some people playing. Some people are playing, but he's just looking at the empty hole basically and trying to calculate it, figure it out. I think he's already done it. There's not a lot of things happening there. This is the overview camera 1. That's pretty much Gata's view from his board, right?
Now I actually think what is happening now, why cannot just white push the b pawn? Just try to push the b pawn.
King a2, king e6. Yeah, but if you play b5, you lose this pawn. Maybe rook g5 first. Try to put the king on f6. But then again, I play here, you have no progress. You have no progress, I guess. I guess so. I mean, yeah, you cannot manage to play just in time this. Even that should be a draw. And maybe... But you need to take care of this a2 pawn. You cannot win any rook king without a king, right? Here. And very precise, this move. Because if black takes it here, then there might be some problems here. And I don't think that Gata wants to test it, although even this normally should be a draw. Rook c6.
But
How do you play? Yeah, I just want to take. Sometimes white can play something like this, but now you just take it, and it's a basic opposition. There's no ideas.
I'm just interested. What if white is trying to keep the rook? Okay, now king e6 was played, rook d1. Yeah, so I wanted to see, like, what if rook is just being kept and somehow slowly to push this b pawn? Is it somehow possible?
Yeah, but as soon as you're going to play b5, I'm going to take on h5. And you don't have the time to take on a3. And the king is too far to support it. Again, I don't think you can win the endgame without the king.
Yeah, but maybe we need some smart move order. Maybe rook d2. What do you play? Rook d2?
Whoa, what just happened there? Why did the bar jump? Just a second. I saw the bar. Whoa, what just happened there? Just a second. King e7, so black waits.
Yeah, it looks very dangerous. So that's what I say. Like rook d2, and also he's playing this move. You see, just waiting. And the problem is black is in Zugzwang, no?
I don't see the Zugzwang, to be honest. Where is it?
I mean, now we can easily play h6 and take the pawn on a3.
Ah, that's your idea. h6 and king a3. Look at that. Tricky Angelica.
And there are no checks on h2.
Tricky Angelica. No, rook d8 was played. Just a second.
Rook d8.
How did this happen?
He's bringing the rook to h8?
Maybe. Well, just a second. Because we were so sure that this is going to be a draw. How did we lost this? How did Kamsky lost this?
I think he had to play a2 instead of rook h3.
Oh, that was still a draw, sort of. Let me check. You know, I'm going to cheat, okay?
Yes, but I think that here a2 we were looking and it was good.
King e here. So.
Or king e6 and then a2 we were
Rook
looking.
h3 is shown to be the losing move. Rook h3, king e6, and indeed keeping the rook at the d file. Rook d8. Now king e7 is rook d5, rook a5. Just a second. So the drawing idea here was, once again, we go back to this position here. So that was a big mistake. King e6 was the right move.
And then a2, yes. And then a2, and then rook d1, then a2.
You go here, and now a2. You need to play a2.
Yes,
I guess so.
So that's what we were looking at.
Right. I just trusted Gata's approach here. I didn't realize it's so tricky. So b4, rook h2, king b3, king.
Rook h3 was a mistake, yeah?
Rook h3 was a big mistake.
It was a blunder, wow.
Wow, Gata blunders this.
Incredible. We were looking.
Tricky rook endgames.
But maybe now we can check with an engine if taking on h. Okay, we checked actually. Yes.
Now we sort of calculated it already.
Checked,
so king h4 is losing.
King h5 is losing. Yeah.
Yeah, this was already
so
calculated.
This was all forced, and rook should have taken on a4, right?
Right. So this was so far a flawless defense by Gata. a4 check, king b4, rook a2, perfect. a3, perfect. b4, rook h2, perfect. King b3, and that was the mistake. I didn't realize it's so tricky, to be honest, but it just proves the point. Right? I mean, rook endgames. Study rook endgames. I mean, it's not like, I'm saying to Gata, study rook endgames,
yes.
But you saw it. You saw it yourself, and now you see Gata is like covering his face. What did I just do? Did I just lost this equal endgame?
So, yeah. I mean, that's what I was telling you before. I mean, it was showing evaluation, but we're still showing the draw. But this king on h5, it was staying there, and it somehow I
saw the bar. I saw the bar. I also trusted the bar. And for me, it seemed obvious, and suddenly, for a couple of moves, you said, no.
I didn't.
You didn't trust it.
I didn't fully trust. I mean, of course, it's a draw, but the king was so far away, so there still something can happen. So let's go to the current position, maybe.
Yeah, so the current position is here, h6, as you suggested, is played.
And king, the move was played. There was the move played.
There's no move.
Can you refresh? No, there was played.
No, this is the position.
No.
There's king e6. Just a second, you're right. King e6 h7. Sorry, yeah. Another move was missing. So white is trading the pawn, and this is a highly theoretical endgame. So once again, take it here. Oh my goodness. I think this would be a draw or the rook on a8. I think so, at least. Because according to the theory of endgame, you need to have the king on the 6th and 5th rank to bother the rook. And the big point is here that if black plays this, then white crosses the so-called middle line. Oh, that's a terrible middle line. So white crosses the middle line of the board, and this becomes winning. Because now I just go away, and whatever black does, I inevitably win the game and just build a basic bridge.
Yeah, and we can see, look at Gata's face. He's just basically showing with his emotions, with his hands. It's like, how did they manage to get to this almost flawless defense by Gata? And yeah.
And that's it. That's how you win the game. King e5, rook d1.
He's shaking his head. He doesn't know what went wrong.
Now he suspects probably rook h3. He's very mad at himself, right, that he played this move. Once again, it appeared to be a more trickier endgame than we thought, because here after knight c5, he liquidated the position into rook endgame, which he probably evaluated to be a draw. However, as we again saw, not everything is so simple when it comes to the rook endgames here. Apparently, king h4 couldn't be played because we already show you this variation. White wins upon endgame, so that's why king g6, king f7. His idea was to keep the position in balance by trying to trade this pawn for this pawn, but it's really tricky because at some moment white could just cut off the black king, and that's why you get so confused. Everything seems the same. And yeah, he made a mistake.
Yeah, and we can see now, earlier, if you remember the body language, both were thinking about the position there, both players were concentrated, but now we can see that Gata is shaking his head, looking at the score sheet. Yeah, which move was it? He cannot understand what was happening. Salih Salim was waiting a little bit. Probably he was even already waiting for Gata to resign, but now he's actually standing up. And we could see he was sitting like this. He was sitting, he knew everything is under control. It's already a winning position. And yeah, we can see Gata is just...
Yeah, he checked very
desperate.
quickly. Yeah. He checked the score sheet. Where was the mistake? The only move was king e6. I mean, we switched on the engines because, I mean, you have to apologize us. Otherwise, we would be sitting here for half an hour trying to figure it out. So we just switched it on and checked. Indeed, king e6 was the right move. Here, if rook d1, you just play a2. Again, basically the only move, a2. And white, I guess, is in some sort of a zugzwang because b5 is rook h5. You win the pawn. h6 maybe. What? Yeah, h6, everything draws, basically. Just take king a2 and... not so obvious, by the way. You still need to be quite precise. Rook h3, cutting off the king. Some accuracy was still required here. He didn't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's... I believe Gata trusts the technique of Salih Salim after the rook is cut, after the boss a3 and h7 pawns will be traded. A huge disappointment for American Grandmaster. Yeah,
it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, yeah, I guess it's time to look back at the memories, what happened in the game, review it, look at the score sheet, accept it.
Yeah, the next phase. So first phase is, not understanding what is going on. First thing, like, what? He's starting to calculate, but he calculated it was a draw, and now the most important part is he has to accept it, and it's very hard. It's very hard once you were playing for already. What time is it now?
They started at 2.
6 hours. Almost 6 hours.
Yeah, 6 hours. A few minutes shy of 6 hours. It's a very long time control. I don't think they're going to use the extra 15 minutes after that because they are going to get extra 15 minutes Um, yeah. Now it's not even clear what moves he's supposed to make, and you see he already he's sure that he's losing once again. Look at this very tricky line again. Take on h7, king a3, give a check, and I suspect that this was a draw with the rook on a8, not with the rook on a7, because the idea, if the rook was on a8, not on a7, rook b8 should be a draw.
Yeah.
I hope I remember it correctly, because after king a4, king e5, you push away the rook from protecting the b4 pawn, and then you start checking. And that's the problem. The rook is on a7, one square closer to the white king, which means the white king slowly approaches.
Yeah, it looks like it indeed, that's the importance of one tempo. That's this, this importance of one tempo, what we can see now in the game. Yeah, basically that's it. So king e7 was played.
King e7 changes nothing. I think h8 is the simplest continuation here. Oh, wait, h8, we still need to be careful. Just a second. If I play h8, now the rook is where it belongs, right?
Now b5.
But the king is not. The king is not, and look at that. I mean, the king has to be either on the 6th and 5th rank to bother the rook. So maybe Gata is trying some final chances. Now, for example, now if you play king e6, king e6, I play b5. And if you play rook b8, I go forward. This I could show the children, actually. Here, 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 rook b8. And because of the unfortunate, oh my goodness.
Okay, rook d2 was played.
Yeah, you just play king c7, rook b5, king c6. You see the rook, why it's so important for it to protect the pawn on b4. The black king is too far away. And as soon as white plays b5, this is basic bridge. That's it. Gata knows it. Salem Salek knows it. Everybody knows it who has studied for king games. So I don't think we are going to see that. Rook d2, king e6. Why is this? Maybe just rook d8 next. So he didn't want to check it. Yeah.
He didn't want to go for it. He just plays rook d8 in the next move, and yeah,
that's smart.
It's happening.
That is smart. Yeah. So he wants to keep the rook on the 7th rank. So I think it's take it. B5, king b4 is lights out. Nothing's happening. Rook d7, unfortunately, black cannot do because this endgame is winning for white.
Yeah, unexpectedly, but yeah. Even though king is so close, it cannot get and oppose the white's king.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to try it out. Okay, 7 check. I wanted to say I wouldn't be surprised if Gata is going to resign quickly. King e7 may be final move.
King e7, rook d4, right?
Or even rook d4. You're right. Yeah,
to protect
precisely.
The pawn, yeah.
But even I think rook d1 wins as well because the rook is not where it belongs. That's the problem. King e7. I think this is the final move. Rook d1.
I mean,
should seal
basically every square is fine.
I think rook d1. That's it. That's going to be the final move. Of course, Salem is checking. Does he need to put the rook in d4? Does he need to do that? Maybe it's just simpler to play rook d1. He makes sure that he doesn't make any mistake in a winning position. So rook d4, rook d1. I think both of them are completely winning. So, for example, here, let's say rook a8, b5. That's it. The pawn has crossed the middle of the board, and inevitably the king is approaching. So time to check some pawn endgames. King a6. What wins?
Yeah. Yeah, very, very instructive. Mistake was happening here. Was not so easy to spot it even for us.
No, it wasn't. I didn't see that immediately. But no, what I can say is that the game was endgame was trickier than I thought, but big surprise there, right? I mean, big surprise because all of us, we have been in these situations, experiencing tricky endgames. I think I saw rook d4, which is just good. Yeah, you don't need it. You could have played also rook d1.
Rook d4 is fine. Still cutting the king. You see, he played my
Maybe
move.
one more final chance, by the way. King e6. This could be the final chance. Try to play rook d7, but wait. Take. Yeah, this could be a draw, by the way, right? So maybe Gata's still going to test it. For example, rook d4, king e6, and now after b5, try to play rook d7. And now you still need to be, I mean, pretty precise to pick up the only move rook c4. So maybe after king e6, here simply Salem Saleh is going to change his mind, play rook d1. That's it. I think actually rook d1 should have been played immediately, but now Gata is checking this final chance. I think can I try to do this?
But what,
b5 from d7.
but what is the difference then between rook d1 immediately and king
No
e6?
difference. It just wins.
King e6?
King e6 and king c4. You don't have enough squares.
Yes, but then rook d7?
What?
No, in like
Here?
yeah, rook
Just
d7.
win the pawn game.
Yes, but then what is the difference between rook d4 and rook d1?
The difference, he felt that somewhere this pawn needs to be protected. That's why.
Yes, but now king c4, sorry, king e6,
Yeah?
then king c4.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe king c4 is still good, yeah. Yeah, by the way, maybe king c4,
Yeah,
yeah.
no difference.
Yeah. The thing is b5 is slightly imprecise because then after
Yeah.
rook d7, you know, okay, rook c4 is the only winning move, but let's just wait. Let's just wait.
Yeah.
I think also Salem Select should be joining us in a studio. Rook a8 and king c4.
Yeah.
Yes,
King c4
he knows. He knows this is a textbook win. You're
he
not gonna
knows
trick
the
me.
stuff.
He knows
the
his stuff. He's supposed to know this. He's almost 2700. You're not gonna trick me here in the same game. I know this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, what a game, what a game. I mean, to be honest, also Saleh had some chances out of the opening, right? A bit later, Gata was a little bit not precise.
It was a mess. I mean,
Yeah,
we
it was-
really
yeah, it
follow
was a
what
crazy.
was. It was a crazy mess. You know, we look at this middle game, for example. Okay, this we were following, but look at this. I mean, what is this, right? The pieces are flying left and right, and
Yes.
queen g6, queen c2. Very interesting game. And we felt that normally should have finished in a draw. However, the Emirati grandmaster created problems, seeked some practical chances, and in the end, it was the American grandmaster who made a mistake. And now, this is game over.
Yeah, this is indeed a game over, and now, I believe now this is the acceptance phase for Gata. We
Sure.
can see he's not watching at the board at all.
Sure.
He's going to resign. I feel this is the moment he will resign.
Right. Yeah, the final moment he checked. He was trying here with this rook a8. He was trying the idea maybe white is not very precise, gives him the chance to play rook b8. He resigns.
He
That's it.
resigns. Huge victory for Saleh Salem. What a game, what a game. We felt out of the opening that actually Gata was feeling pretty comfortable, right? And yeah, somehow the things turned out in a crazy way. The position was not so easy to evaluate what was happening later in the middle game. And when we reached the end game, there was already, I mean, it was already like drawn. We felt like it's drawn and everything should be good. But there was huge mistake by Gata.
Huge mistake by Gata, but unfortunately for him, maybe it's actually good news for him. He's not the first one, not the last one who has done it, because in rook-in games, especially as tricky as that rook-in game, it's easy to make mistakes, especially when you're playing almost the 7th hour of the game. So it's been a very long day. Also, it's a bit hot here in Biel, and when you're playing it for so long, endurance is all that matters. So yeah, very interesting endgame, but yeah, white wins. So maybe let's check very quickly the results of what were happening here today. Where it is? Here it is.
So yeah, we have the very impressive victory by Gukesh, which also part of the chess history of the world, the third youngest player to reach the 2700, and also the first youngest Indian.
Right, so we are going to have here Salem Saleh with us in the studio in a moment. Give us short a moment and something like 1-2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We are coming back with more action.
And welcome back. We are here with Saleh Salem, who just won miraculously the game against Gata Kamsky. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That was a crazy game, actually.
Yeah.
That was a crazy game, crazy end game, but
Yeah, very interesting game. I think I was much better around the middle game. But I mean, the game is so long, I will just probably go through some critical
Yeah.
moments. Okay, I didn't expect the Dutch. I don't think I played very well here, but let's say...
maybe actually after bishop g7, yeah, you didn't
had
want
something
to try
Yeah,
queen
I mean,
g3.
Queen G3, King F7. And okay, it makes sense to stop castle, but I'm under Knight H5. So maybe some move like Bishop E2. It wasn't clear to me how to put the pieces here. But of course, Queen G3 is very tempting to stop the castle, but I wasn't sure. I thought maybe I just need to bring my Knight to F4. So let's go to this moment where, I mean, this is all interesting, unclear. I think after D5, I really liked my position. I didn't like this D5 move. And also maybe previous move, maybe something with Rook B8 instead and B5 ideas. And here, okay, I liked how I played until this moment. Let's say, okay, Queen G3, questionable, F3, Rook B8, Knight E2, A5. And here, how much time did I spend? 0. Okay, I mean, this was this was really like the moment where probably I have to be precise. And okay, maybe Knight F4 is not bad. And here, yeah, here I felt that I should have something. Maybe your audience are much stronger, so probably they suggested something here. I thought one idea is to remove the queen and go G4, other with Knight E5. There were many tempting options, but I didn't really see it. I mean, I feel that okay, after Knight D7, I feel that I'm winning here, but I just didn't see how. Do you know how?
Secret, no.
Yes.
But there were always somehow some pressure on the C6 and
Yeah. Okay, so I really
H5?
don't know what to show because, like, let's say H5 looks tempting, yeah, because C7 is hanging, and in case of G5, Knight G6 tempo, the rook has to move, then I take. It looks like a free pawn, but black has some options. Let's say, I don't know, Knight F8 or Knight B6, and my queen has to go somewhere, and A4 hangs. And this H5 could give black safety if it doesn't work. So the black king feels much more safe. So it's a very committal decision, and I didn't see how to follow it up. But I must say that really this moment I felt that I must have something concrete here. And I didn't find it, so he also had very little time. So I thought, okay, let me play just logical, some queen f2, g4 idea. But I don't really like what I did here. So, okay, bishop a6, g4. It got very complicated here. Takes. I'm not sure he should take on b3, actually, but he did. And here, yeah, I mean, when I went to this, I thought that I will find something here. But here I spent like 12 minutes and I didn't really find anything convincing. So maybe actually it's not much better, because I was still under the impression that I'm probably much better winning. Yeah, I spent all my time on this queen c2 e5, which happened. I mean, here, okay, I could show maybe some interesting ideas. Maybe, for example, I was thinking about knight e5 to stop this e5, because then after e5, all black pieces start to play. So I was considering something like this to sacrifice the pawn, but at least to keep it closed, and to play like rook g2, rook g1, queen c2, with h5 ideas, but I couldn't really estimate it works or not. I thought that it's not easy to defend g6, but then I saw some tricks like, yeah, I mean, no, it's after queen f7, rook g1, and sometimes something like rook g8, and after, let's say, I don't know, okay, again, computer wants to play a different move, but it's not my, again, okay. I mean, rook g8, knight takes g6, takes, something like bishop b2. And so when I saw that black might have some defensive resources, I wasn't sure that knight e5 is good. So I played queen c2, hoping that he doesn't play e5 because it looks very scary, but I think he didn't have choice, so he played it, takes. Yeah, actually here, after e5, I had many interesting options. For instance, something like knight g6. Obviously, you cannot take with the king, so queen takes. And here I calculated two ideas. One is like queen takes c6. I was really happy about this at first, because I thought like something like take, and then I maybe jump to e5 or f4, and then maybe take on d4 recapture. But I didn't like switch and took here, rook b6. And then always black has this rook c6 resource, and it gets very tricky. So after knight g6 takes, I also thought about something like h5, which looks ridiculous, but it's not so stupid because, okay, black cannot take because of knight f4 check. So if knight takes, I thought something like rook takes g4, and black has to keep this diagonal protected, so something like queen f5, queen c6. But it looks too complicated. I'm not sure that it's good for me. So this h5 is probably not good, and this knight g6 probably doesn't work. So I took. If I have something, it's probably in this moment. And here I had two ideas. One is what I did in the game, and other idea was knight e5 check. And if king goes to, let's say, g8, or maybe h8 looks more logical. I thought that takes, for example, takes, and I didn't see really how to defend black's position here, because let's say if you go rook e2, I mean, this cuck minimum works, I think. So if king h8, the same rook g7, but then king h8 I wasn't sure about. And my idea was that after king h8, now I can go rook e1. And why exactly after king h8? Because let's say if takes, knight g6 is a huge tempo. But after king h8, rook g1, I saw this d4. And in the beginning, I thought, okay, what is this d4? But sometimes knight comes to d5, and yeah, I wasn't really sure how to estimate. It feels good, but who knows? Maybe it's just for computer, okay, +5, and I'm looking so bad now. But this was my thought, I mean, to be honest. So yeah, I thought that actually I blundered something here. I saw all this, rook b6, knight g7, queen g6, and initially I thought that actually I have here knight f5. And the point is like if you give check, king goes, takes, and with my king safe, it's very good for white. But I don't know why I just didn't consider from far this move, thinking that, okay, this check, but knight h7 is a tempo, and rook c6 comes. It's very bad news for white. And here there was a very risky try, which is h5, and this is how I usually lose my games. But it could also work. So I'm not really sure. Let's say h5. My initial thought was like rook c6, king goes here. My rook is protected. So I thought, okay, black takes, for example, some bishop e5, queen h7, and the rook takes g4, and it's not clear who's mating. But then I started to hallucinate stuff, maybe like check, king, and I realized that there is this check. And it gets really tricky. Maybe it's just lost for me now. Yeah, it's good that I didn't do that. So yeah, this h5 or knight f5, they don't work. So I decided to go to this endgame, where I thought it should be equal. Maybe I can push a little, but I'm not saying that it's easy to play with black, but I think objectively it should be draw. Rook c6, g5, okay. Maybe there are more accurate moves, but here, okay, this was first interesting moment. No, after rook f8, c4. Yeah, here I spent some time thinking about this move. Looks also tempting. The point is, if you go c3, I take. And okay, like bc looks like queen, basically, but this is the idea that, okay, king d5, I'm attacking both pieces, and then with bishop f4, I'm winning material. Okay, black probably has to go like rook f6, but then I take, knight takes, and then I come and collect, maybe to d4 more precise. But finally, after takes, rook takes, I was thinking about this position for some time, and let's say if bishop e5, I thought it's okay. If I take, then knight f6, and black takes next on b3. I cannot go to e6 because of rook e3. And actually, I calculated something like this during the game: this and takes, check, king, this, and so on. And I won both pawns. Maybe it's draw, maybe it's not, but it's not necessary. It looked very interesting, but I think black has some precise way here. No, I also considered some bishop f5. Okay, it's too complicated. Maybe it's just zeros for computer, but it's really very complicated. So this, what happened? Takes, and bishop g1. And here I had different ideas, like h5 was my initial idea. If you go up, then bishop f4. I mean, obviously the point is if you take this takes, and I collect. So I thought that king g7 is the best, and something like rook f5, knight c5. First, I was really optimistic about this, but then I calculated further, and like something like king d2, playing for tricks, because let's say black takes, I have check, and okay, king h6, for example, and b3. So knight c5 is correct, king d2, but here, something like, I think check here, king, check, king, and maybe takes. Yeah, it looked also interesting, but I thought it's probably draw. So finally, what did I do? Played something worse, probably, yeah, bishop g1. Yeah, also, one more move was really interesting here is, what I did is bishop g1. And I thought the best is something like rook c1, but I'm not really sure. b3, bishop d4, knight c5. And here I spent like, what? 11 minutes thinking about king e3. At first glance, it looks like a blunder, okay. But there's this small trick that, okay, I'm taking, and all these pawn end games I'm winning. So king e3, black cannot go with this because of check. And knight takes a4. And for a very long time, I didn't realize that after this rook d8, the black can simply take on b2 and take on h4. I was thinking about this position a lot, like if king h5, which looks natural, I take king f3 and white mates black here. Black has to give up, to give up the rook, but also loses the knight. And
everything would be great if not for
knight takes b2. And yeah, then I decided to go to rook endgame, which I don't know, is it draw?
So I wanted to ask you actually, what did you think was the valuation here? Like,
I didn't have choice. I was hoping that it's not draw, but I felt that it's probably draw. And
I believe it was equal valuation. He just did a mistake.
Yeah. Okay. Rook 8 I thought was the best try. I'm actually just passing the move, because if I go for immediate rook b8, then the king is always closer. And on h5, like maybe king h5 is not accurate, but probably a draw. So maybe it doesn't matter. And this was my trick, that with king on h5, I have this rook b5, rook a4, rook d5, and if king, and it's with check. With the king on g6, it's not check. King is closer to go to queenside, and with check, he has to lose at tempo. I thought that king h6 is maybe draw, but maybe what he did is also, he's also draw this rook a1 and a4.
It was all fine here.
Yeah, actually here I started to think that I'm winning, but apparently I was wrong. So yeah, b4, rook h2. So it was very nice defense by him until this moment. So probably a2 just makes a draw, yeah?
First king e6.
King e6.
And then a2.
Yeah, but I thought that, wait, so if rook here, a2 takes, rook d2. No, maybe rook h8 and rook b8, and this is theoretical draw. Yeah, this is theoretical draw. So in the game, black got much worse version. Like the king is
a rook on a7.
on the second, but also the king. The king best squares are the third and fourth, and the rook must be on the first. So he got the king and the rook wrong. So I was so lucky.
Yeah, this rook h3 was a fatal mistake for Gata.
Yeah, and after king a2,
Yeah.
okay, it was very hard for me to go wrong, luckily. Yeah? So, okay, here I only had to be careful with some early pushings, let's say, I don't know, check, king b3, king e7, rook d4, rook a8. Probably he was counting on this last trick that if b5, there is a rook d8 idea. And this is the only thing that white should not blunder. And after king c4, it's over.
So at the end game, you thought when there was still the bishop and the rook against the knight and the rook that you still can push, and
Yes,
at the end
yes.
you were hoping for it somehow may work.
Yes,
for
I
you.
wasn't so happy when I realized that I have to change the bishop for the knight. Although it looked very tricky, rook endgame, but I thought with the bishop against knight, I have much more chances. So yeah, okay, it went the way it went, and it was good.
So there are some questions from the audience. What is your favorite chess book?
I don't read chess books. Okay, what is my favorite? I don't have favorites. I read some books, but I don't really have favorites. So I can mention some of the books I read, of course, my great predecessors. I'm pronouncing it correctly, yeah? And Gelfand, positional decision making, and some of Dreyev, some of Sokolov's. Sokolov's books are good. He's my friend, so I have to promote his books. And yeah, these are, let's say,
actually, there's a question. So he actually, Ivan Sokolov praises your, this ethic of playing chess. How much time do you spend for chess, actually?
Yeah,
working on chess. Yeah.
I spend a lot of time actually. I mean, with chess, not necessarily working, because I don't know if playing blitz like for 5 hours is working or not. But yeah, I spend quite a lot of time. I mean, let's say 5-6 hours working, and then probably blitzing. Yeah.
Because was it the truth something about your training and marriage? Was it that you paused the training?
Yeah, yes, it was the wedding night. I was playing blitz with Sokolov. But I was just ready, and I have to be in the evening there, so why not, yeah?
Immediately afterwards.
Yeah, okay, some shower first and getting dressed and so on. Yeah.
So there is some question, for your level of, chess. Do you have actually...
This level or... Okay.
For your rating, do you actually have some friends besides, chess circle, or you just have friends?
No, I'm just a chess nerd, so no friends, no social life. Of course, I have a lot of friends, and I spend a lot of time with them, wasting my time, so yeah. Mostly, actually, my friends are non-chess players.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So, did you also manage to hear that, okay, Gukesh won the game, so he reached 2,700? Do you have any thoughts about it? Did he deserve it?
No, I just care about myself, so I don't really care. Yeah.
Okay.
But congratulations to him. It's really nice, yeah.
So there is also another question. Is it better, to play for a draw with white pieces, and then, to play with black pieces, so to say, waiting for white to push, and then, somehow to try to go for a win? What are your thoughts about it?
Okay, I must say I'm not so good in these strategies. I think the best way is just to play best moves that you can play, and then see what happens. This is how I try to play, but I don't know. Maybe you can ask someone better.
And the last question, how do you feel yourself now after the game? Because you're playing such a long game, almost 6 hours. Now
Yeah.
you're analyzing with us here. Do you feel yourself tired or just normal for you to
No,
play
I have a
such-
lot of energy after a win. Of course, I'm very happy, and I think tomorrow we have blitz, so it will be more fun. And yeah, I'm quite happy actually. I don't feel so tired since I won.
So after win, you get even more energy.
Yeah,
huh?
sure.
Okay, thank you so much, Salah Salem. Good luck tomorrow in the Blitz.
Thank
So
you.
see you tomorrow.
See you.
And we're back. That was Salem Saleh, the leading Emirati Grandmaster here with us, sharing his experiences about the game. He is in a positive mood, of course, having scored very important victory in today's round. And I think we also need to check what in the end happened in the round 3 of the GMT and what are the results.
Yes, and we have 2 decisive and 2 draws. For Gukesh, the victory brought not only the lead in the tournament, but also 2700, one of the best, one of the youngest chess players in the history to reach that point. Gata Kamsky lost, unfortunately, against Alex Salem, as we just saw. And there are 2 draws, Vincent Keimer against Noderbek Abdusatorov and Arkady Naidic against Andrei Sipenko.
So here is the new updated overall rankings. Gukesh is in the lead, in the charge of the tournament. Also, he's currently the youngest player to reach 2700, at least among the Indian players. Like Wang Liyem remains in the second place, 15 points, 14.5 for Andrei Yesipenko. And actually not so far behind are also Arkady Nadic and Salem Saleh, who managed to score a very, very important victory in today's game.
Yeah, what a day. A very long game was the last one. We were expected to finish it much earlier with a draw, but what a turn of event. I enjoyed it, that's very much. Tomorrow will be Blitz.
Tomorrow Blitz, tomorrow action resumes, a lot more fast-paced action. We are saying goodbye to you. Thanks again for watching us. Thanks again for the positive vibes, all the questions in the chat. It really is important for us to know that you are liking it, that you are following it, that you're asking questions. This is also your chance to interact with the viewers. So tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time, we are going to be back again in the same theme, Blitz. Have a great evening. Enjoy it, and come back tomorrow.
See you.
Goodbye.